Hi everyone. Yes, I'm Natasha. I'm from the Poetry Society. We are the leading organisation for poetry in the UK and a partner on Renew. And I just wanted to start by saying how much we appreciate that right from the start of Renew, creativity has been built in and that there's been this recognition of the role that arts and culture can play in addressing the climate crisis. We know that arts can change hearts, change minds, connect people, which I know is a theme that's come up a lot over the last couple of days, and just allow communities to articulate shared frustrations, shared visions, perhaps even shared hope. So we wanted to end this wonderful couple of days with a moment of creative reflection. Some of you will already have engaged with poetry during the Biodiversity Parliament. Maybe you came to Caleb's workshop just now. Maybe you came to hear about our Young Poets Network case study earlier today. So we want to wrap up just by hearing from a few poets, just to give us a chance to spark some new thoughts, maybe think about next steps, and also just kind of pause and take in everything that we've heard about over the last couple of days. So we're going to hear from Caleb first up. So Caleb is a PhD researcher with the RENEW programme at the University of Exeter and an experienced tutor and workshop leader. He was Bristol City Poet from 2020 to 2022. He's published 3 pamphlets, and his debut collection, This Fruiting Body, was longlisted for the Laurel Prize, which is for eco-poetry. And his second collection, Mingle, was published last year. And he is going to share the collaborative abecedarian that was written by some of you just a moment ago in the session where I think you're creating a poem manifesto for environmental justice. So over to you, Caleb.
Thanks so much, Natasha. And yes, we very speedily came up with a manifesto poem by looking at some abecedarians to do with the More Than Humans, some eco-poetry abecedarians. And then we looked through our notes. We thought of some really good verbs, doing words, and then we collaboratively and cacophonously, that's a word now, put it together into what I'm going to share with you now. So I'm going to share my screen and then I'll read it to you. And so this is a lovely melange of everyone's voices. Here we go. Hopefully everyone can see that. Great. So Renew Biodiversity Parliament 2025, an abecedarian manifesto. Appreciate complexity, the smaller things, the plants in the sidewalk, each other in all our diversity, and act, build communities, be bold and brave, courageous, connect with people, be individual with the structural, change the care washing, do things, don't just sit there. Embrace people in nature, embrace our enragement. Feel hopeful for change, for the future. Grieving our failures, but growing, glistening. Half of kids have never been to a woodland. Intermesh destinies, interspecies involvement. Justice for all is a journey. Kick out inequality and oppression. Love repairs, love equalizes, love is adaptation, listening, love builds trust. Mosquitoes and mangroves and maples need care, not justice. Normalize nurturing and organize leaves into constellations. Postericide, eliminate it. Quandaries and questions of justice, injustice, rage, reclaim, recommon. Release control of the wild. Sheep-wrecked lands recovering. Speak out for those who cannot. Tyrannize today or tomorrow. Understandings of nature are multiple, varied. Versify, diversify voices, our vulnerability. What is wilderness? Wonder at ivy's persistence, its extraordinary exuberance. It's always tricky by the time you get to X. Under the yoke of oppression. Youthful energy, zapping, zinging, within and beyond. Zoom. We had to get a reference to Zoom in there, obviously, by the end. So thanks to everyone who came along. It was really fun putting this together. And thanks for listening.
Thank you so much, Caleb. Love the imperatives, love within and beyond Zoom. Thought for the future. All right, so now we're going to hear from two young poets who are part of the Poetry Society's online community of poets aged 5 to 25, Young Poets Network. So as you may have heard earlier today, we offer regular writing challenges and workshops for young people, and we're committed to programming at least one environmentally themed challenge a year. So the two poets with us today have both been successful in some of our recent environmental challenges. So we're really pleased that they're going to share their words with us this afternoon. First up, we're going to hear from Sylvie Jane Lewis. Her poetry is published in the London Magazine, Acumen and 14 Poems, and is commended in the Where Poets competition, the Free Verse Prize, and Verve Poem of the Month. She has an English MPhil from Cambridge and was a Poetry Society Young Critic last year. She's pursuing an AHRC-funded literature and film PhD at the University of Brighton on literary modernism and cinematic fairies, which I wish we had lots more time to talk about. And she was commended in a challenge called Earthlings Building, which was actually devised and judged by Caleb. So a nice intersection here. And that asked young poets to write poems that explore the habitats we share with non-human earthlings. Sylvie, over to you.
Hello everyone. All right, can you hear me okay? Amazing. All right. Well, thank you so much to everyone involved in this. It's a real privilege to be able to share poetry with you and hear from everybody. Yeah, so I'll read a couple of things. The first one, I will say all of these poems are to do with hares. I became kind of obsessed with writing poems about hares earlier this year and wanted to read everything I could about them. And yeah, I'm interested in their kind of natural history and folklore, and in the hare as an animal sort of in need of protection in Britain as well. But I suppose also as an animal that inevitably can give shape to various human concerns as well. So I will start with a poem that was recently published by the journal 14 Poems, a queer journal, and it's called On What a Woman Is. And it was something that I wrote following the Supreme Court ruling in April of this year that was to define gender and biological sex. This is On What a Woman Is, following the Supreme Court ruling on April 16th, 2025. A man shaped like a suit says that a woman is an adult female, whatever that is. A woman is a biological field note. A woman is a cervix on legs. Each trans life a debate, a football, fair game. Game. There's a word to clarify. A challenge, a child's joke, a kickabout, a hare fleeting from gunfire. Hares box in the dells, their union ritual. In their twin semblances and level punches, you cannot tell which is male or female. Hares shapeshift into witches, into spectres, anything we cannot fathom. For life is a series of transformations, of painted faces, shared spaces, a friend's kiss or Halloween dress that engenders a revelation. A person is no static thing. A sister is no snapshot. Each life spools into moving frames, into sorcery, into a woman who wants to use the bathroom, into a woman who wants for more than this. So there's that one. And I think I will just read one longer poem, and it will be the one from the Young Poets Eco Poetry Challenge that was judged by Caleb. So yes, this one is called The Hare, My Nervous Tenant, and was actually the one that got me started on my hair obsession. So, all right, this is The Hare, My Nervous Tenant. 1. She made an unusual house guest, shivering like a hangover as I headed to the door. All legs, all wide eyes, all hearing ears. Any time I fancied a party or pub, she'd start. There will be hunters there, in smug grins, in pint glasses. Stay with me, she'd say, and fear the hunter. I held her in my lap, a shallow nest, her heart a steady omen. Hares are not like rabbits, she told me. We do not burrow, you see, and I need a place to hide. 2. I never charged her rent, of course. In this job market, a creature of her nerves was doomed. Each day she raced around the garden borders, exhilarated, contained. After my shifts, we'd binge Country File and Love is Blind to better understand our respective species. I stopped going out altogether, sure that a hunter would follow me home. Hares are not like rabbits, she told me. Our flesh is darkly bloody. The gentry love to feast upon us. 3. One night, as a witch moon shone, she told me how she missed the fields, the orange skies, the birds who scream for they are living and can do anything. Let's go and hear the birds, I said. Naturally, she protested 100 times, trembled, fearing the hunter with no name. I took her in my arms. Hares are not like rabbits, I told her. We are not born naked. We went out into the world, covered by the coats we were born with. All right, thank you so much for listening, everybody.
Fantastic. That was really beautiful. Thank you, Sylvie.